Welcome home. We are WNST, AM 1570, Towson, Baltimore. We are Baltimore positive. We're positively into the summer months, having some fun, taking the Maryland Crab Cake Tour out on the road. If you've been listening to AM 1570, you know we have 17 different dates in all sorts of places. We're going to be at Zeke's Coffee in Lauraville. We're going to be at Di Pasquale's in Highlandtown with Pete Caringi and all my soccer hooligans. But we began it this week in Randallstown. We were at the Y at the pool in Randallstown. We gave away the Back to the Future scratch-offs. They did play the YMCA song. I'm not making that up, but they played disco music. There are people in the pool. I had Councilman Julian Jones came out and joined us, John Hoey from the Y, as well as Barry Williams, who's with the Y and a whole bunch of other places. But we also had a clean cuisine crab cake to celebrate our 27th anniversary, which begins on August 3rd. We're doing 27 of our favorite things to eat in the marketplace, all of it brought to you by our friends at the Maryland Lottery in conjunction with our friends at Liberty Pure Solutions, as well as Curio Wellness. John Martin joins us right now. John, this crab cake tour, I did the show out at the Y in Randallstown. I said, well, they don't have a crab cake there. So I brought in clean cuisine. One thing that I've done a lot of crab cake tours. You know this. I do Mako. We're going to be doing that down with local government in August. I've never done one of these from a pool. It's not like a natatorium. It's a swimming pool. And it wasn't a particularly hot day, but I wore clothing to the swimming pool. So this was the crab cake tour where I left literally soaking wet. And I should have just worn my swimsuit. How do you go to a pool in summer and do a crab cake tour and not wear a swimsuit? Mistake. So I have to rectify that when I go to Dundalk.
Well, that's all right. You're a little hard on yourself. I want to go back on something you threw out there as a little tease and make sure I understood this. Are you eating 27 things at one time?
No, 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 no. So, I mean, you sponsor the show, so let's have a meeting. So I did 25 crab cakes in 25 days for a
Yes.
20. I did 26 oysters
Yes.
for our 26th anniversary. This is 27, and I was going to do crab soup, but there's cream of crab, there's Maryland crab. I was going to do that. And then I thought, you know what? I want to promote 27 different kinds of businesses. Maybe they have a crab cake. Maybe they just have peach cake. Maybe they just have
Ah,
egg custard snowballs. So these are literally the real places I go. And I know you live here in Baltimore County, you live locally,
yep. Yep.
and I don't always go on about my favorite Thai place, my favorite Chinese food place,
But you could.
my favorite Indian place, but I will. No, I must. I will, and I must.
Wow.
In September, we're going to promote local business, not just in Baltimore. I got some places like even over the Eastern Shore and some other places I'm going to do this.
Nice.
So,
Very nice.
and we're going to do a bunch of shows at a bunch of places, and we're going to promote a bunch of good causes, like we did
Okay.
Justin Burke's. He's doing a ride around Maryland for kids with cancer. So I'm doing this stuff. So that's you're giving money away. Somebody hit a grand slam over the weekend. I was a
What?
little
Wait,
worried.
huh?
Yes.
What?
You're giving money away, John Martin. I know
Did we
this
know
about you.
that? Where's my accountant? Did we know that?
Well,
Yes, in fact we did. There was the third Grand Slam recently hit. Total of 79 home runs in the home run riches to date. We have paid out in prizes on home runs alone. $90,000 is our progressive jackpot. Continues to grow on our $5 scratch off home run riches. Walk off winners. And progressive jackpot is well over $65,000 as we speak. So check out mdlottery.com or visit any of our 4,300 lottery retailers, and you'll find out perhaps how you can get to be the contestant of the game, how you too can win cash money for home runs and grand slams. Coming up in the month of June, we got a big series coming up. Listen to me. There's a big series coming up. The end
it's
of
a
this
big
week.
week. It's a big
It's
week.
a
I mean,
big week.
Tampa and the Yankees. It's
Oh,
so
the
big that we got
Yankees.
Steinbrenner and Yankees
Oh,
on the names of the
oh,
stadiums. And listen, they're playing better. I mean, Luke and I talk about it
yes,
every day. Bullpen's been okay. They've got some of their players back, and Calzer
yes.
Westberg's probably my favorite Oriole right now. Don't tell anybody. Don't
All
tell
right.
Gunner that or
That'll be a
Adley or
secret.
anybody like
That'll be our
that.
secret.
Or
Yep.
Jackson Holiday, who's cute, but like
Yep.
no,
Yep.
and likes dogs apparently. But I'm a Westberg guy. So Grand Slam. Are you made aware of this? Are you enough? Are you close enough to the Orioles that when a thing like this happens over the weekend, that I should text you
It
and say, ha,
depends.
ha, ha.
No,
Because I
no,
almost
no,
text you and
no.
say, $5,000, go get the money,
Yep.
go find the
Yep.
money in the vault. But I
Yep.
know you're prepared for this,
We
but it
are.
is
Of course we
fun
are.
when
We
people
are
win.
prepared. At the Maryland Lottery and Gaming Control Agency, if nothing else, we are prepared. And we also prepared to meet players where they are. And when they live around the great state of Maryland, sometimes from outside Maryland. We'll get to that a little bit later on in the show.
Let me get my map
We
out.
have coming up on the upcoming Yankee series, since you mentioned they were one of the next victims on the parade. On the first game
They're
of the
not
series,
playing well right now. I want to throw that out before we give Home Run Rich's winners
go,
that you do have a chance, and their pitching hasn't been very good, and it's going to be a little
see,
warm at Yankee Stadium this weekend. So,
now, see,
I predict this weekend over under home runs, 3 games,
yeah,
9.
well,
And I think you're going to
now that
give
you,
some
yeah.
money away this weekend, Martin.
All right. All right. Now that you put that out there, of course, the fates are going to laugh. They're going to mock you. But I tell you what, Theodore Chase of Baltimore, Maryland, is the first Yankee contestant of the game. And
Three
then
home
Michael.
runs for you, Teddy Chase. Let's go. Keep going.
Okay.
I'm gonna be like
Mi-
Oprah. Home runs for you, all of you.
Michael Phillips of Columbia, Maryland, will be on the Sunday game. But on Saturday,
Four
are you
bombs for
ready?
you on Sunday, Mike. Go ahead.
Are you ready? On
Yeah, okay.
Saturday, Daniel Brenneman of Mount Lake Park, Maryland. That's Mount Lake Park, Maryland. So my question to
I ain't never
you
heard of that.
is, where in the world is Mount Lake Park, Maryland, Nestor?
Well, I think he's only going to get 2 home runs. That's my prediction for Saturday. I don't know why. I'm just sort of making that up. I've never heard of Mount Lake Park. I'm trying to think of where there's a mount and where there's a lake. There's a Mount Hebron. There's a lake. There's a lake. There's a lot of lakes. Mount Lake Park, Maryland. It's mountain. It's Mountain Lake Park. It's Mountain Lake Park.
Oh,
I just looked
excuse
it
me.
up.
Excuse me. I have a short, my staff gives me shorthand. Okay.
Mount, I didn't know. Mountain Lake Park. I have been in and through. It is on the Maryland Highway. It is basically adjacent to Oakland, Maryland, out in beautiful Garrett County, right out there near Wisp. Very, very close to a Deep Creek Lake.
Beautiful country.
Right off of
Beautiful country out
Bradford
there.
Lake, near Deep Creek Lake, and near perhaps my second favorite part of Maryland, not called Baltimore. Swallow Falls State Park in
Oh,
Western Maryland is one of the most beautiful. You won't know you're in Maryland if you go to Swallow. You'll think you're like in Hawaii or something. It has rolling waterfalls and it's this beautiful
okay.
park.
Okay.
So
The
that's right
Hawaii
by
thing.
now. No, I'm telling you,
I think I would know if I were in Hawaii or Maryland, but that's,
I've
we
been to
digress.
Hawaii and I've been to the real like things in Hawaii and the waterfalls. Mountain Lake Park in Oakland, Maryland.
You
Good
can
Orioles
see
fans out there, so I like hearing that they're Orioles
great
fans.
Orioles fans, probably some Steelers fans, but we won't talk about football now. We're
This isn't
talking
one of them.
baseball.
This particular contestant is not one of those people. They're an Oriole fan. So 4 home runs for you. Satis gave away 11 home runs for the
There,
weekend. That's
wow,
the
wow.
under.
Okay,
Over.
we will revisit that next week and see how the accounting does. Hey, you know what? That Home Run Riches is a fast play game, but the big attention on fast play this week, or as we speak, is the progressive jackpots. We have 9 of our fast play tickets have progressive jackpots, and one of them, our $30 Gold Rush Progressive, is knocking on the door of $2 million. That's an attention getter. That is.
So when people see this and they're thinking,
Yes.
okay, it's a $30 play, but there's $2 million at stake here and it's up for grabs and it's going to happen. When these jackpots get big like this, it's sort of like a balloon that's going to burst, right? Because
Yes.
what is the record? Because at 1.9 in a progressive fast play, we're getting up top 5 maybe ever, or is that where we are? Where are we with that? It's a lot of
Uh,
money.
you know what? Off the cuff here, I would say it's probably top five. The largest one we had was a 2.9 million. We
2.9.
had a
Okay.
2.6 million. Uh, we may not have had anything else in the twos.
Okay. Well, that's what I'm
So this is
saying.
up there. This is
Okay.
up there.
All
This
right.
is up
Well,
there.
this
And
is,
I
I
should
look at
stress
this as an opportunity, is what I look at this,
absolutely.
John. Yes.
Absolutely. And it's not just winner take all here. There are a number of prizes below the top prize. It's just the progressive prize grows after each ticket is purchased. If it happens to be a non-winner, a couple of coin go into the pot and it grows and grows. So it'll be knocking on the door at $2 million. Check out mdlottery.com or visit any of our 4,300 Maryland lottery retailers and ask them about that Gold Rush Progressive Jackpot or any of our other Progressive Jackpot Fast Play games or any of our games, whether they be Fast Play, Scratch Offs, or Draw games, all available. But please, regardless, play responsibly when you do that.
John Martin is here. He is the executive director of all things Maryland Lottery and Gaming. He comes on and explains things to us from time to time, encourages us in some ways to do things responsibly, as we always try to do here. But people think I'm smart and know about all this stuff. I go to mdlottery.com. If you go to mdlottery.com, when we begin these segments every week, I don't have pages of notes, and I just go to mdlottery.com. It's $1.956 million in the $30. I can honestly say I haven't seen a jackpot that big, so that's why I made a big deal about it. But we got other things going on as well. Last week we talked Game of Life, and this is a fast play game as well. And I started to think about Game of Life, and I've been asking. I still don't know the rules, but I am fascinated by the Game of Life because I've been playing it for 56 years.
Yeah. And winning at it, Nestor. I would say you are winning at the game of life.
Depends what day.
Well, yeah, all right. I hear that.
I could
But yeah,
use an old normie from Cheers here, but I'm not going to do
God
that right
rest
now.
his soul.
Right,
God
I
rest
know.
his soul. Man, that is tough. When the people you grew up with watching and feeling that they were part of your extended family, even though you didn't know them, when they passed it, it's kind of a sad note, is it not?
uh, every day of my life this happens with celebrities and stuff, and it
Yeah.
just bums me out. But I'm just glad that we have the Game of Life. We can still live here and play and win, apparently win big.
You can not only that, but the promotion we're running now through the end of June. So hurry up. We're halfway through the month, a little bit more than halfway through the month of June, but running through the
Freebie.
month of June. Yeah, is what we call a BOGO in the trade, Nestor. I know you know that, but some of our many audience members may not.
I
That's
did
buy
not know
one,
what
get one.
BOGO was till like 2 years ago. I literally
Yeah,
asked on the
yeah,
air. I had Wendy on. I'm like, she said BOGO. I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. I'm not cool enough. BOGO, buy one, get one.
that right.
Buy. I'm just for the old people like me. Or even the young people that aren't nearly as cool as the cool people are. BOGO, buy one, get one, free.
Right. So you buy a Game of Life fast play ticket, you get a free Cash for Life $2 ticket. And of course, the Cash for Life game is drawn every night of the week. So you will get a cash or a ticket for the next available drawing, depending on when you purchase your Game of Life ticket, and you automatically get a Cash for Life ticket. So we hope that you have success in both games, and that's a fun promotion. First time we've done something like that. We try things from time to time. That's what we do here at Maryland Lottery. We try some things. Sometimes they win. Sometimes we put them back on the shelf. But as you're well aware, we have a great promotion going on with Royal Farms. Free gift cards available for people who enter our My Lottery rewards for a chance to win up to $1,500 in Royal Farms gift cards. We have our Life in the Cash Lane Powerball promotion going on for people who may have an interest in NASCAR, but more importantly, have an interest in winning money. Again, through the month of June, you play your Powerball ticket, you enter it in a drawing, and hopefully you're one of the many people selected around the country to participate in a VIP trip to Phoenix for the NASCAR Championship weekend and up to $1 million in cash prizes. And lest I forget, the Let's Make a Deal promotion. A lot of
By the
fun with
way, the
that.
television commercials with all the outfit, fantastic. I just want to throw that out. Person in like the chicken suit, like all that. It really does get my creative juices flowing and say, if I ever went to a Let's Make a Deal taping, what kind of tree would I be? I wonder.
Well, yeah, that's kind of interesting when we have that available to us. Matter of fact, in the halls here, in the hallowed halls of the Maryland Lottery, those costumes are sitting in the corner. So when no one's watching, I put on the sandwich costume. I just thought I'd tell you that.
Well, what kind of sandwich are you? Then I mean,
Oh,
you
I'm
all sorts.
bologna. I'm a bologna sandwich. People will tell you that.
Well, as
Oh,
long as you're not a Mortadello, I mean,
no,
I
no,
think we're
no,
fine,
no, no, no,
But
no.
so,
Hey,
John, you finish up for me because I have something
okay.
completely off script that has to do with the lottery and involves my
Oh,
wife. But go
nice.
ahead.
I love
So
that. I
go
love
ahead.
that
Finish,
because
finish, finish up
if
with Game of Life. We got Game of Life. We got our Royal Farms promotion. We got all sorts of things. I want to get the full promotion in before I wreck the show here today because I know
not
you
a
really wanted this to go well this week.
not a problem. I just wanted to give the flowers to Carolyn Perkins, who is our most recent Let's Make a Deal second chance winner. She will be joining Wallace Thrash. Don't know that they ever met each other,
We're
but
going to
they'll get a
L.A.
chance. Going to LA, participate in
Oh,
that fun stuff. So, we do have a tightly scripted show, Nestor. I know you know that. So when you're telling me you're going off script here, I'm a little concerned, but go ahead. I'll play along. What do you got for me?
all right. So I'm doing the Maryland Crab Cake Tour in a bunch of places, and I know you know this because you're up on like OTBs and you're up on your own clients, and one of your oldest clients in the world is Costas Inn over in Dundalk. They were one of Mr. Costas took on the lottery before almost anybody did back in the 70s. And I took my wife to the new Costas, which we're going to be doing the show there with Congressman Johnny Oshesky. I don't think I've ever said that out loud. Congressman Johnny Oshesky. I usually say Baltimore County Executive. So Johnny O is going to be joining us in early July. We're doing it out at Costas, and they just opened, and it's right next to the OTB. It used to be Nick's. I've done crab cake tours there with Tommy back in the day. So I went in for the first time on Monday night. The Orioles were playing in Tampa. Mixologist John was mixing me up with delicious Deep Eddy Orange Crush, state drink now. Um, and my wife said something to me very lottery oriented. So we're in a new space, a new place. It's Costas. She'd been in that room once or twice in the old days for different things, but we're looking at the walls. We're looking at different stuff. She's looking at the TVs. And she said to me, now I'm going to say this to you, John Martin. She said, "Hey, Keno, I've never played Keno. Is that like bingo?"
Wait,
So I'm
what?
just, this is where I go off script.
Never?
So I
Never.
just want to tell you this and
Wow.
about Keno. This is what I know when you think, hey, Nestor, he's an OG, especially when I don't shave and the silver comes in. And I've been on the radio so long, and I'm going to Google exactly when this happened, but I can tell you it's mid 90s, um, maybe late 90s, mid to late 90s. I'm good with this like I am good with music and stats of Mike Schmidt and George Brett and Fred Lynn, who's coming on the show next week. So anyway, I said to my wife, Keno, I said, Keno's like was always like a Vegas parlor game that I would see out there. And when I started going to Vegas, maybe 93, 94, 95, I'd see it out there. And then when I was doing the show, the Budweiser Sports Forum back in the 90s, one of your predecessors, well, one of your infamous predecessors got a whole room named after him in your place. Buddy Rugo came over to my place and said, "We're introducing this new thing. It's called Keno." What is Keno, no, Keno. Okay. And then all of a sudden, the little slip started showing up over at the barn, which is now Das Beer Hall, where I was doing my show with Ray Lewis and Ted Marchibroda back in the day, and trying to name some old Cleveland Browns to really Ed Sutter, get you Rob Burnett, different guys like that, Greg Montgomery, Steve Everett, who was not happy to be here. So nonetheless, Keno came on when I've been on the radio. So I remember having to explain Keno and play that thing, but then I'm like, tried to explain it to my wife, and I'm like, I said to my wife, go to mdlottery.com and the rules. And I'm like, just Google. And I said, but it's not like bingo. It's like bingo, but it's not like bingo. So I'm going to give you the floor to give you an
Ugh.
OG game that's
Ugh.
still very much a part of the vernacular. It's certainly a Costas. It was on so much so that my wife looked up in the OTB where there's horse racing and there's all sorts of stuff going on, baseball games, hockey happening. And she's like, "What's Keno? Teach me Keno." And I'm like, "All right, I'm going to bring this up with John this week because there are some OGs out there that still want to play some Keno, John."
Keno is a fun social game, typically in bars, taverns, restaurants, establishments, where you have the chance to sit down, relax. I mean, certainly you can walk into any convenience store, any of our 4,300 retailers, and buy a ticket and play Keno and watch it in the store. It's a continuous loop, if you will. About every 4 minutes or so, another game comes up. Um,
I used to wait in bar owner bars in the 90s as a sales guy, and I would sit there and I just watch the little balls go. Like,
yep,
because it was a
yep,
fun game, even when it was just like Atari back in the 90s, where we had all these
yes,
computer screens and stuff. It was like an active game, it was
yes.
like 8, 21, right?
And
So it
now
was fun. It really
And
was
now, as
fun.
as I'm sure you both saw at Costas at Timonium there, we have now made it more of an entertaining experience. You're right. Back in the day, in the parlor games in Las Vegas, like bingo, a number would come up and it would appear on a board, illuminated like a bingo board
It used to look
does.
like the board
Yep.
that hung at Squires for the waitresses.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
It
Order
literally
all.
looked like
Right.
that.
Exactly. Exactly. But now it's evolved, and so each game has its own little graphic nuance, and we love to have fun during the seasons. Certainly during the sports seasons, we have baseball themed, we have football themed, we have golf themes, we have spring, winter, fall. holiday themes, whether it be Valentine's Day or whatever. So yeah, we have some fun with the graphic presentation of how those numbers come up, but very, very simply, you have numbers from 1 to 80 that make up the Keno game. You may select up to 10 of those numbers. You can select as little as 2 numbers all the way up to 10. And based on how many numbers you select, you then watch the 20 numbers that are drawn per game. Um, and if you have X number of your numbers on the 20 picked, you will win a prize up from even money bet all the way up to tens of thousands of dollars, depending on how much you have wagered and how many numbers you have selected. So my recommendation to anyone who's new to the game is watch it first, get a sense for the rhythm and the flow of it. Start small, maybe 3 numbers, 4 numbers. Um, you can bet with a multiplier, if you will. There's a wheel that spins before the game that says if you happen to win, you win X number, 3 multiplier, 4 multiplier, 5 times. But have some fun with it. And I always, when I play, not in the state of Maryland, but around the country, will pick numbers that mean something to me. Birthdays.
36.
There
That's
you
my
go.
favorite number. You know
There
that.
you go. There you go. Sports players' numbers, whatever. That way, it maybe adds a little more engagement to it. And then watch as the numbers are drawn and see where they fit on the screen. And if you happen to if you played 4 numbers and you got all 4, don't quiz me, but you can go to mdlottery.com and find out how many 4 of 4 wins, how many 3 of 4 wins. And if there are any payoffs for 2 of 4, I'm going to tell you not a lot of payoffs for 1 of 4 or things like that. So you really need to get typically multiples of your numbers to come up to make any return of that. But it's a fun game. Nobody wins millions of dollars. It's not a Mega Millions Powerball or even multi-match type game. But it's a fun. You sit there, you relax. You're having some beverages with your friends. You're having a meal. Sometimes people play up to 20 games at a time, 10 games at a time, and just kind of put the ticket aside, enjoy the conversation. Then at the end of the night, see if they've won anything. Maybe they've paid for their meal. Maybe they've won enough money to cover the cost of their entertainment for the night. So again, it's a very fun social game meant to be enjoyed in a group. 2, 4, 6, 8, whatever number of in your party. But have some fun with it. Go to mdlottery.com to get familiar with all the rules and regulations. Start slow and play responsibly.
When I tell you about Miss Edie, I'm not
Yeah.
making that up, right? Miss Edie was a real lady who lived 4 doors down, who had 3 kids who were all troublemakers, still are in many cases. And she was the lottery player in the neighborhood. And this is back 3 digit, 4 digit. There was no lotto. This is back in the 70s, early 80s. And we're kids. And she tried to send us up to the store to get tickets, and they wouldn't sell them to us because they knew better than to do that with young people. But she liked to say, my number hit. So and by the way, I got into this with Melody Barron last week on the Crab Cake Tour up at Greenmount Station, Hampstead, about the Philadelphia accent versus the Baltimore accent. I cannot do the Philadelphia accent. I embody the Baltimore accent. So Miss Edie would say, my number's hit. So when you play Lotto, or excuse me, when you play Keno, you play more numbers. So you get to say, my number hit. That's my number. My number's got to hit. So she liked to say that. So when you play Keno, you get to say that. My number. That's my number hit. Is
Well,
that good?
if people enjoy, very good. If people enjoy roulette, and not that the games play at all, they're very different play styles, but the same thing,
What's
right?
a
People walk
number?
to a
Right.
casino
Yeah.
and they look at their numbers from 1 to 36, and they say, okay, that's my birthday, that's our anniversary, that's my favorite ball player's number, and they're their numbers. Well, the reality is they're everyone's numbers. But if that's what makes it fun for you, entertaining for you, as long as you're doing it responsibly, yeah, enjoy it. So I will look in the future, not any pressure, whenever your lovely wife wants to put her dainty tootsies in the Keno pool. I would love to hear how successful she is in that effort.
All right. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do the show at Costa. I'm gonna while I'm doing the show next time, and
Oh boy.
she's enjoying the crab soup, which she loves. I'm going to say, look, here's $10. play a couple games, have a little bit of fun. She's
Yep.
lucky, so she'll turn it into 40, she'll turn it into something and buy me crab
Good.
soup. So John Martin is here. He wants you to be lucky but play responsibly. We'll talk sports wagering and all the other stuff that we have going on here in the summer. But you can learn about all of this at mdlottery.com. You can come out and get free tickets from me. I'm going to be at Reader's Crab House on the 26th. We're going to be at Zeke's. We're going to be at Costas and Timonium. We're going to be at Di Pasquale's in Canton. We're moving the show around and we're enjoying our 27th anniversary beginning August 3rd, the month of August. Each and every day, I will unearth something delicious that you can go enjoy. And John, this really speaks to where we are, that not every lottery ticket is a $30 ticket or a $50. Everything that I'm featuring, for the most part, are like things like $5, $10. Like most of the food that I'm from Dundalk. I'm not Gucci, right? I mean, like, and I haven't hit it big yet in the lottery, or the game of life for that matter. So I'm keeping this affordable. So I know you're going to be one of those guys. You like to eat. We all like to eat. You're going to say, oh, well, that's obvious that Nestor picked that place. Or, hey, I didn't know about that place. I got to go there and check that out. So that's going to be my goal in August, to make people eat more. How about that?
Whoa, that's a lofty goal, but from what
Eat
I see around town,
locally, support local
yep,
business. That's a
yep,
thing.
yep, yep. I think that's attainable. I think that's a great goal to have. Look forward
These
to it.
are a few of my favorite things. I am Nestor. We are WNST, AM 1570, Towson, Baltimore. It's your Christmas in July, or at least June at this point. We're Baltimore positive. Stay with us.